Oh, hey, we're on. What's happening? What's going on? What are you doing? I'm here at the NAMM Show, still doing live Drum Talk TV coverage, and I'm here with Jason Hartless, who, at only 24, I hope you don't mind me saying that, has an amazing gig. He plays with, well, let's just put it this way, he's got the greatest backup band in the world, Ted Nugent. How you doing?
Doing great, brother. You know, just another year at NAMM's, you know, seeing the same faces and enjoying the craziness.
I appreciate you taking time out to get with us, tell a little bit of your story. We're going to do a much longer form interview with Jason away from the madness online, so watch for promos about that. How long have you been with Ted?
This year will be my 4th year touring with him, and, you know, I got to say it's just been an absolute crazy ride, and, you know, Ted's one of the greatest guitar players it's ever lived, in my opinion, and just been an absolute pleasure working for him.
That's awesome. How many times has he taken you hunting?
Actually, we were going to go hunting this year, but due to some licenses, I've never been hunting. Got to wait another year. I got to take some safety things. But first time I ever shot a gun was actually with Ted. And,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We were in rehearsals up in Michigan, and Ted found out myself nor my drum tech had ever shot before. So rehearsal stopped immediately. And we went out to his ranch and shot some guns, and, you know, it's a blast.
What's it like working with Ted?
It's an absolutely amazing experience. You know, he is just one of the nicest dudes, one of the most down-to-earth guys to work for. And, you know, it's crazy. He turned 70 a couple weeks ago. And, you know, I sometimes got to try to keep up with him.
I was listening to Ted when I was 10 years younger than you are now. I mean, that's just so weird, but it's such an awesome gig. And he is one of the greatest guitar players out there. And I think it gets a bad rap, because a lot of people view him as just some radical right-wing. Ted's a very compassionate person. I've seen a lot of things he's done for schools and for kids and things like that, which is just great.
Absolutely. I mean, the charity work that him and his whole family does is just unbelievable. So it's a great family and great person to work for.
We don't have to all get along politically to love each other and respect each other. So remember that, people. And Ted's one of those guys that I think exemplifies that. If you peel back a couple layers other than what's on the surface and what some, let's just say, organizations are more proponents of, there's much more depth to the man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How'd you get the gig, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I was touring with an artist called Pistol Day Parade. You know, active rock. We had a hit called Rockstar's Girlfriend that did really, really well on the charts in 2014. And when we were doing the radio campaign, you know, our label was like, all right, we got to get a nice big tour to coincide. So we ended up getting a tour opening for Ted Nugent. And we toured with them for 3 months. And, you know, long story short, after the tour, it was very that thing you do moment, to where the band just exploded because they didn't like touring, you know, so-and-so, you know, it was a big mess. But
there's people cutting off, you know, hair, nose, all kinds of things to be able to get a gig like that.
Exactly. You know, our song was number 19 on the charts at the time. That's the funny thing. And we were told we were getting number 1. So anyways, the band exploded in mid-success. And, you know, a little while goes by, and, you know, I was just sent out emails from some industry buddies of mine. It was like, hey, I'm looking for a gig. You know, I got summer open, you know anybody. So I emailed Eric Singer, a dear friend of mine, you know, and Doug Banker, who's Ted's manager. And those two kind of at the same time, you know, we're kind of like, well, you know, why don't you look into this? And I got a call from Ted a couple days later, and he's like, hey, do you want to come jam with me in Waco and, you know, see how? Like, yeah, sure. And I've been in the band ever since.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
This is early 2016. So this will be my 4th tour with him.
That's awesome. What is on the song list that you look forward to the most?
Well, honestly, I mean, you can't go wrong Stranglehold. It's such an iconic rock song, and, you know, playing it with the guy that wrote it every night is just phenomenal.
It's killer. What's the band lineup? I'm not up to date with who's in the band right now.
It's really cool because we're actually a 3-piece. So it's Ted, myself, and Greg Smith, who's been Ted's bass player for the last, you know, 12, 14 years or something. And Greg played with Alice Cooper and Billy Joel and everybody. So it's really, really cool. Very old school. We played no tracks, no backing track, no click, no nothing.
Raw.
Very raw, very old school, and, you know, it's just a really great sounding band.
You guys have a live album out? I know there's tons of stuff out, but do you have an official release of you guys playing live?
We actually, in November, we released the new Ted Nugent record, The Music Made Me Do It, which we tracked early last year, but it also came with a live DVD from 2 years ago. So that
I'm gonna look for that.
it was really, really cool. And actually, what the best part about it is it was filmed in Detroit, Michigan.
Nice.
And
you have family there, friends,
absolutely, and
groupies, the harem.
and the venue was actually literally a mile from where I grew up. So it was really, really cool.
What a story that is, you know? That's awesome. I was born down, this doesn't compare, I'm just throwing out an anecdote, okay? I was born down the street from the LA Forum. The first concert I went to, I was 14, my dad took me to see Led Zeppelin at the LA Forum.
Nice. That's a good one.
Who's some of your biggest influences besides myself and Marvin?
Honestly, you know, it's one of the most tough questions I get asked constantly, and you know, I've got the mentality of that, you know, you should have one or two favorite drummers. You should have 1,000 favorite drummers and pick from those, you know, their different influences, where they got their start, where they got their sound. And, you know, but to summarize a couple of guys that I find that I bring a lot of my key sound with is Corky Lang, Drummer Mountain, was a big mentor of mine when I was little. And, you know, Corky was my mentor since I was 7 years old.
Really? I didn't know this. I just talked to him. I had no idea, yeah.
Yeah, so Corky's a big one, you know. Jeff Porcaro, Todd Zuckerman, you know, Mick Tucker from The Sweet was probably my earliest influence. You know, so the list goes on. Vinnie Colaiuta, Steve Smith, you know, Eric Singer, all those guys.
I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they're pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's just a giant list of guys, you know, whether it's just one little teeny thing I picked from them or, you know, whatever. It's you know, ever-changing, evolving of your sound, your technique, style, everything.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for taking time, joining us. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You got to check out what Jason Hartless is doing with Ted Nugent. I'm going to order the DVD, everything you guys have done together out there. I love that it's a three-piece. I love raw live music. That's where it all started before we had electronics even, right? So thank you for joining us here on Drum Talk TV live coverage of the NAMM Show 2019. Soon, like real soon, like someone else is up. We'll see you real soon. Hang on.